In this exercise, we'll use the blend spline tool to create several smooth transition curves between two solids. Then we'll use the unstitch face tool to convert both solids to their constituent faces. We'll delete the right face of the blue solid and the left face of the light green solid. There will now be a missing face at both of these locations. Next, we'll use the Curve Mesh Surface tool to create a transition surface. The splines we created with the Blend Spline tool will form one set of curves, and the edges of the openings, less the top edges, will form the other set of curves. Then we'll use the Edge Curve Surface tool to create a top transition surface. We'll then use the Stitch Sheets tool to combine all of the surfaces into a solid body. Finally, we'll use the Shell tool to turn the model into a formed thin wall part. So let's work with an actual file. Open sample file KCV hybrid 6.ckd. We're going to use the near ISO view provided in the file. Makes it easier to see all of the flow lines. Let's use the Render Wireframe tool. And we're going to use the Blend Spline tool to create splines between these curves on the existing surfaces in the file. Carefully pick them in order. It's easy to miss and accidentally pick a wrong set of matching curves. That's why we rotated to this view. It's a little easier to see. Let's render Gerard with wire. And now we'll select a light color, just something that contrasts. We're going to unstitch faces. And we want to select these options, unhook, faces of sheet bodies, one body per face. Click on OK. Select all, display all, and then click on accept. So notice that the faces turn to that color. We're going to delete that end face on that solid and that hidden left face on that side. Now we're going to pick the Curve Mesh Surface tool. We want to have Chain Select enabled. We're going to select the perimeter edges in order on this side, except for the top one. We don't want that. Then click on Accept. Now we're going to pick the one semicircular and then click on Accept. You're going to click on Accept a second time. That tells the software you're done with that first set of curves. Now select each blend spline at the left end and hit Enter after each one. Can be Enter or Accept, it doesn't matter. Walk all the way up in order, always picking at that same left end. After you hit that final Accept, you're going to click on it again in order to indicate you're done with that set. That creates the bottom transition surface. Now we're going to use the Edge Curve Surface tool. We do not want Chain Select here since there's only one entity for each one of these edges. And now we're going to click this edge, this blend spline, this edge, and this blend spline, and we get a top surface. Finally, we're going to click on the Stitch Sheets icon. Click on OK. We'll use all those options. Click on All Display, All, and then Accept. And we'll get a message that we created a closed solid. That's exactly what we want to see. Finally, we can click on the Shell tool. And we'll pick a value like 0.05 for the shell thickness. And we're going to select this end cap surface, this top surface, this one, and that hidden cap surface on the left side. Then click on Accept. And then we get a thin walled part. This could be a metal transition like you might see in a connector or something. It's a very fast way to create this kind of construction. So let's recap. In this exercise, we used the Blend Spline tool to create several smooth transition curves between two solids. Then we used the Unstitch Face tool to convert both solids to their constituent faces. We deleted the right face of the blue solid and the left face of the light green solid. And we now had a missing face at each of those locations. Next, we use the Curve Mesh Surface tool to create a transition surface. The splines we created with the Blend Spline tool formed one set of curves, and the edges of the openings, less the top edges, formed the other set of curves. Then we use the Edge Curve Surface tool to create a top transition surface. We then use the Stitch Sheets tool to combine all of the surfaces into a solid body. And finally, we use the Shell tool to turn the model into a formed thin wall part.